Hey guys, how's it going? This is Jacqueline, the unimportant homemaker, and today let's talk about womanhood. You all know the story of Job, but I want to talk about Job's wife. I had a whole thought process about her that I had hidden in my heart. I hated hearing everyone harping on Mrs. Job. Yes, I know Job lost everything he possessed, but she lost everything too. And she also lost him to his sickness when he went out and sat in his sackcloth with his friends. This woman could no longer buy at the market because their livelihood was gone. She couldn't converse with her daughters and sons anymore, and she couldn't even have her husband around because he was in mourning for himself. Sure, she could have been thankful she was spared personally from the attacks. My point is that I had a whole self-righteous viewpoint on how we ought to cut Mrs. Job some slack for her faithlessness. I sympathize with her, mainly because I'm a wife. I have a child, and if God sees fit to do a work in my husband's life like that, I would be affected too. And that thought terrified me. So I wanted to make sure my husband was obeying God properly. I wanted to counsel him, or let's call it what it was. I wanted to control him, to make sure he didn't misbehave and cause God to intervene in his life, because my life is tied up in his and I don't want to suffer along with him. But wait. This foolishness deserves a whole separate video that we'll come back to on a different day. Anyway, I was on Mrs. Job's side. She was just ready for the calamity to cease. She wanted him to screw up in a big way so God could just go ahead and kill him so she can have some peace. Job's testing shouldn't have to affect her, right? These were my thoughts. But recently, I was reading a book written in the 1550s when the author made a very astute observation on how troubling this wife's comment actually was. The gist of it is that Mrs. Job said exactly what Satan wanted Job to say. She spoke the very words he predicted Job would say to God for afflicting him. She talks like Satan. At that moment, my whole sanctimonious attitude about her struggles and hardships in life vanished, and I saw with new eyes what that really meant. So my question is, in what ways do we talk like Satan? We forget that Satan quoted the Bible to Jesus himself. He doesn't always come with the bad stuff like murdering or lying. He will even use our Bible to tempt us to mistrust God. Acting like Satan might be taking a Bible verse out of context to manipulate God into saying stuff like, you can do all things through Christ, even becoming a millionaire because you asked in Jesus' name. Or Jericho marching around the courthouse to get your husband to drop his divorce suit against you. We make these foolish and blasphemous statements because we want something to happen for us. We turn all the promises of God into yes for us, forgetting, or maybe not even understanding, that that verse means all the promises God promised in the Old Testament are answered yes in Christ, in that he fulfilled them all and made possible because he is all in all. Do we consider that taking verses out of context is a Satan move? That's what he did. And that's what we do sometimes. But back to Mrs. Job. Do we speak like Satan? Do we say, has God said? When we see clearly that his word did say. Do we try to twist the verse and reinterpret it with a modern twist so that it can now allow us to do or be something God has forbidden? When we are overwhelmed with the duties of life, do we say to our heart, I hate being a woman, or I hate having so many children, or what have you? That's murmuring against the Lord's providence for your life. When our husbands are being the worst, do we say with Satan, obviously you aren't a Christian? Or start hurling lies about how he never this and he always that? We slander and accuse just like Satan. Do we accuse day and night other believers when we come before the throne of God and tell him what we quote unquote know to be true about other believers? This is what the book, The Revelation of Jesus Christ, says Satan does when he comes before the throne. Are we talking like him? It's not just that Mrs. Job was faithless and a foolish woman, but that she was a mouthpiece for Satan. Think about this the next time you see yourself deceived by the cunning of the serpent and your mind be led astray from the simple, sincere, and pure devotion to Christ. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time here at the homestead. Bye.